Hello, Fredericksburg, Texas. Hello, world. It is that time for Informing Fredericksburg. To inform means to form what's inside. Nothing has more power to form our thinking or our being than the power of words. But what words, which words, and whose words, right? So we're going to have Informing Fredericksburg, and we're going to visit with Roy Thompson coming up here in just a little bit. Mr. Thompson is the president and CEO of Texas Hill Country Bank. We're going to talk a little bit about the Paycheck Protection Program and a whole lot more coming up right after these. Informing Fredericksburg. Thank you all for joining us today.
Touch Well Service will take care of all your water well needs that come after drilling. They specialize in water pump installation and repairs, servicing windmills, solar pumps, jets, submersible pumps, and pressure tanks. Touch Well Service has been in business since 2002 with 83 years combined experience. Their entire staff is dedicated to their customers. Touch Well Service supports all men and women in the United States military and first responders. Touch Well Service, 830-997-2413. On the web, hillcountrywaterwell.com, and look for them on Facebook.
Vogel Tractors, specializing in low-hour, high-quality ag equipment. Area farmers and recreational landowners put their confidence in Van and Jamie, knowing their tractors, loaders, and farm implements will exceed expectations. All equipment is well-serviced and field-tested, and if new is what you need, Vogel Tractors is your Rhino Ag equipment dealer in the Hill Country. Warranties, financing, and delivery is available locally or nationwide. Vogel Tractors, located on Highway 290 between Fredericksburg and Stonewall.
All right, we are back Informing Fredericksburg. J.D. Rose with you. I want to thank Bell House B&B for providing a beautiful studio here. And right now we're going to visit with Roy Thompson, President and CEO of Texas Hill Country Bank. Got banks in Kerrville, Bandera, Fredericksburg now.
Absolutely.
Fredericksburg, Texas, USA.
Yeah, we're the only bank to come to Fredericksburg and not be able to open because of COVID-19.
But now you're able to help some folks on you.
We are. We had Dow Floyd and Adalia Conejo. I don't know how many of you have known Adalia. I've worked with her for a lot of years, and it was great to meet Dow and a lot of family ties and connections over here.
Dow's FHS alumni all the way.
Absolutely.
Bantley and Billy. So.
Yeah, and his dad was coach, I understand. So it was
Coach Amos Floyd.
Yeah, exactly. So it was great to have Dow come join our team. And they've been doing the PPP loans over here just like we have in Kerrville and Fredericksburg, trying to help out our local communities. And been a very interesting time. As you can see, we're not exactly dressed like bankers anymore these days. We've been very casual for a month and a week, I guess, now, and probably will be for a couple more weeks till we get things back in place and ready to open. We want to keep our customers safe as well as our employees. So we're putting the plan in place for that. We hope to have Dow's office opened up here at least by the end of the month, by the end of May.
Nice.
And not April, end of May. So we're excited about that.
That's out Highway 16, right by Soundwave. And,
exactly.
Inside Story in that area.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about yourself before we
Well, I actually grew up in a small town up in the Panhandle, a little town called Matador, Texas, between Lubbock, Wichita Falls. Grew up farming and ranching. I probably knew what I didn't want to do when I was 18. I probably didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to farm and ranch anymore because I was about this size when I was very young. My dad got a lot of farming out of me by those high school years. Went to Tech and then just kind of fell into banking in 1987. If you'll remember, the banking world turned upside down. The economy was upside down. It was the S&L crash days back in those days. So it was an interesting time to get into banking, and one of my sayings is, "Good Lord looks after idiots." Well, I think He's always kept me in a good place, and He kind of made me a banker. I never dreamed of being a banker, but it turned out to be a wonderful career, and it's great to be able to do it, especially in good small hometowns like I grew up. I graduated high school at 21, so being in small towns like this is fun for me. I enjoy it.
It's kind of like me with all the years I did in radio. Mm-hmm. You know, I could have went to a bigger market, but this old hill country boy, I don't think would fit in too well in San Antonio or Austin. So
when I left Texas Tech, I went to and I helped with the Alumni Association over here in Fredericksburg for Texas Tech, and always proud to do that. But when I graduated from Tech, I actually went to downtown Dallas for about 6 years. And you talk about feeling like a fish out of water, but great learning experience and great opportunity. I'm glad I did it, but not where I was going to live for life.
Well, here we are in the beautiful hill country.
Exactly. Love it here.
God's country, you bet. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Paycheck Protection Program. I know there's a lot of small businesses out here. We got a lot of businesses, the heartbeat of America, right here in the hill country, and we need some assistance right now. We know a lot. Everybody needs help right now.
We do.
In some way, I mean.
We do, and I will tell you, the program had good intentions. I think Congress and everybody put together some good intentions. And to put it in a very simple terms, what the Payroll Protection Program, which is part of the CARES Act, what the intention was to make everybody that owns a small business, it was to make you as the employer really kind of the unemployment office. So instead of you having to lay your employees off during this downtime and them going and applying for unemployment, they would essentially give you the money to keep paying your employees through the Payroll Protection Program. It had great intentions. Unfortunately, it was probably a little delayed in getting rolled out, and unfortunately I think a lot of people across the United States, and I'm sure some here in the Hill Country and the rest of Texas, went ahead and applied for unemployment. And in Congress' infinite wisdom, they actually competed with themselves a little bit because they upped a lot of the payroll benefits. I think they actually increased the weekly stipend another $600 over what it had traditionally been. So it's been very hard for a lot of people that are looking to get the PPP loans and get those put in place to actually hire some of these employees back. But it's slowly but surely working, and certainly for the people that couldn't get through to the unemployment office because they've been so overwhelmed themselves. Now then it gives it a chance for these people to come back and get some money back in their pocket and wait till we can get out of this.
I'm sure it's saved quite a few businesses. I'm sure there was a few in the mix that were thinking about closing their doors. I mean, it's tough out there, man.
Absolutely, and as a banker, we want to see our customers thrive and survive. So we jumped in the middle of this payroll protection program. I kind of liken it to trying to run a race where they fire the gun, yell go, and you have no clue which direction you're supposed to run, how far you're supposed to run, or really whether you're supposed to be jumping hurdles or what you're doing. Because the program still had a lot of unknowns when we rolled it out. And one of the particulars was the sole proprietors. It was written up that the payroll protection program that sole proprietors could come in and apply. But we didn't actually get the rules on that till the second week. And by then, the next morning, we were already out of money. And when I say we, the United States. So
right, they went pretty quickly.
The $350 billion had been used up. Hard to me, $350 billion is an unattainable number. But when you look at 4,000 or 5,000 banks across the U.S. all doing that for their customers, that money went fast. So as we all know, Congress appropriated quite a bit more money. And we're in
round two. Like $349 billion more?
Yes, exactly.
Like that?
Yeah, about 340. It's broken down a little different, but this time they gave the small banks a little bit better chance to get into the program because some banks were froze out. We found a way to get in and not be froze out the first time, but there were a lot of small banks that were frozen out. And our bank's a small bank. We're about $170 million in total assets. The bank was formed in April of 2009. So we're still a new bank by all means. But we were lucky to find a way to do it. And in the first round, we did approximately 220 loans for about $29 million. And in the second round, we've already got approved through the SBA another 150 applications approximately for just under $5 million. So we're excited to help out our customers.
So there's still time.
There is still time. And as a sole proprietor, I would tell you there are ways to do it. So when I think of sole proprietors, some of the most common folks are going to be realtors, hairdressers, barbers. Those folks can, if you've got a Schedule C for 2019, and even if you haven't filed your tax return for 2019, but if your CPA or your bookkeeper can do your Schedule C for 2019 and have that computed and be what you're going to use on your tax return, then as long as line 31, which is essentially your net income, as long as that's a positive number, then you can qualify for funds under the payroll protection program.
Wow, that's great. So
Yeah.
what will it help them with? Maybe the rent of the building is factored in? What's all?
Yeah, and that's a great question. The way the payroll protection program was designed was, again, to make you as an employer the unemployment office so you could keep paying your employees and they didn't have to go to the unemployment office. So 75% of that money under the PPP program needs to go towards payroll and payroll-related costs. More than 75% can go to it, but at least 75% needs to. The other 25% can be used for rent. It can be used for interest expense. Can't be used principal payments or anything like that, but interest expense, rent, and then utilities, phone bills, all the things we use, in operating a business. And what happens is from the day you're funded, 8 weeks later, we're going to come back, the bank's going to come back and ask you to provide some of the same type of payroll documentation, but now what will become historical information 8 weeks later, where you can show copies of checks, or you can show your payroll that you've paid your employees, show copies of rent that was paid, interest. Then we go back to the SBA and ask for forgiveness. Assuming that loan is forgiven, then that was basically free money to the business owners. And it worked.
And how does that work? How does that part of it work?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that that's tax money that Congress has appropriated for us. So we're when you look out over the next 20 years, there's going to have to be some taxes paid to go back and cover these things. In the 08-09 debacle, where it was a lot of big businesses that had problems, Congress actually took some ownership stakes in some of those big publicly traded companies. And actually, in the end, when those publicly traded companies came back out and the economy got strong again, it repaid the Treasury on a lot of those loans. That's not going to happen this time. This is going to have to come from taxpayers. And what you hope to have happen is for the economy not only to come back and get back to its original level, you need it to go to a much higher level, because the higher the level of the economy, the more revenues are created, the more taxes are created without actually increasing the tax rate.
What's the interest rate on these loans?
The interest rate, assuming that the loan is not forgiven in 8 weeks, let's just say that you couldn't get, if you had 20 employees and you could only get 15 of them back to work, so you were only able to pay 75% of your payroll. So let's say 20% of the loan was not forgiven. So let's say your business qualified for $10,000. So 20% of it, $2,000, couldn't be forgiven under the program. You have 2 years, which really is the way we're still getting a little bit of direction, what they call guidance from the SBA on how this is going to work, but you'll have 2 years to pay it off, and the interest rate is 1%. So if you're going to have to borrow money, this is the way to do it.
I was going to say.
And we've even told several of our customers, hey, even if you're not sure if you're going to get your employees and stuff back, if you can pay this back at 1% over 2 years, it's still a good deal for you, so that you have that money available. Then that way you can be ready when your employees come in. We encouraged a lot of our customers also, JD, because during this time when this started a couple weeks ago, we didn't know when we were going to come out of this. And they're like, well, I don't want to pay them if they're just going to be sitting home. And it's like, well, they're going to go get unemployment, which will drive up your workers' comp and other things. We think it's better that you do this, but also this is a good time if you've got employees, you wanted them to do additional training or online training, or if you need to clean equipment, especially restaurants, it's always a good time to stop, clean equipment, do maintenance and those kinds of things. And a lot of our good customers, business customers, saw some wisdom in that and stepped up and got their employees back to work. So it's been a win-win for them.
I love it. Well, we're going to continue our conversation coming up here in just a little bit with Roy Thompson, President and CEO of Texas Hill Country Bank. A lot of good info in here.
Thank you.
We'll be right back, Informing Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg Trade Days wants to encourage everyone to stay healthy and be kind to your neighbors. When we get through this, we look forward to seeing you each month out on our little hill. Remember, water seeks its own level. So be what you want those around you to be. Visit us, fbgtradedays.com. That's fredericksburgtradedays.com. Check us out on Facebook. God bless and we will get through this.
Creek Street Dental utilizes the latest technologies in dental care. Dr. McBride has been specially trained to offer the Hill Country sedation dentistry. Anxious patients can sleep through oral surgery in a private room with family nearby. Their CBCT machine provides near-silent imaging, making possible the most painless and effective treatments. iTero technology allows virtual manipulation and modeling, so no more gagging on impression trays. Call 830-990-1178 for the best in your family's dental health today.
Texas Hill Country Bank understands these are challenging times, and they want to assure you that your favorite bankers are still there to help via phone or email, and their bank remains strong and focused on their customers. With mortgage rates the lowest they've ever been, now may be the perfect time for you to refinance your home. Or maybe you're looking for a low-interest loan for your business. They'd love to talk to you. And if you haven't already taken advantage of their mobile and online banking options, give them a call or visit them online, TexasHillCountryBank.com, where good people make good bankers. Member FDIC.
Cordially Invited, a special service for special events, anywhere in the Hill Country. Family and friends won't have to miss it after all. From the producers of Billy's.live, cordiallyinvited.live. Find us in all the familiar places.
Be the envy of the neighborhood with the lush, thriving lawn from All Around Irrigation, LLC. We are dedicated to providing friendly, professional service to leave you with outstanding results. We have built a reputation for getting the job done right. We offer a number of services, including land clearing, development, rain collection, drainage, and of course, landscaping irrigation. The grass can be greener on your side when you call All Around Irrigation, LLC today.
Back informing Fredericksburg. J.D. Rose visiting with Roy Thompson, President and CEO of Texas Hill Country Bank. And we're talking about the Paycheck Protection Program and a whole lot more. Why as a bank, what made you want to participate just as a bank in this?
There's a couple of things. One, we are getting paid for it. We're not paid by the customer. We're paid by the SBA. So for each one of these loans, depending on size, we get a fee. It can be as much as a 5% fee for a small loan, all the way down to a 1% fee for a much larger loan. But honestly, being a banker that went through the 80s, went through the 9/11 time frame, and then went through 08 and 09, the last thing you want to do as a banker is have a customer in financial difficulty. And we felt like that by being able to jump in and do these loans for them, we would prevent them from being in financial difficulty, which means we would have to work the loan out with the customer. So we saw it as an opportunity to really jump in and do some things for our customer that's never been available before to me in my banking career during a financial crisis. And that was to find another way to help them get through this without them having to sell something or without the bank having to make concessions and both of us being in a difficult position. And so we wanted to help our customers and help our community because we knew without this, there would be some customers fail. And there may still be in the end, but right now we feel really good with our customer base of how well they've responded to this. We've seen restaurants do takeout orders and be creative about that. And some of them have fed us real well during this time frame, maybe too much for me, but it's been really good to see our customers respond. And I think the combination of them being creative, being Americans and being creative and figuring out a way to make things work, plus with the money that came out of this payroll protection program, and now then Texas starting to reopen, we feel good that we think most
it's a
of our
good way to kind of
customers
jumpstart the economy a little bit, for lack of a better term.
Exactly.
But I guess here in Fredericksburg now we get to open up restaurants at 50% capacity. People can actually get outdoors and play a little tennis and things like that. So
starting to enjoy themselves.
It's just a good feeling. And I know it has to be a process and a slow process, but it's going to be nice to get some businesses opening up. What about, I've got some stubborn family members, they're like, I don't need help from anybody. I got this, even though they may be hurting for certain.
Right.
They're just a little bit stubborn. The mentality side of it, what would you say to?
That's a Texas mentality. I grew up in an old farm and ranch family that just figured out how to do it. We don't need help, and we were going to keep the government out of our business. But there's never been a situation like this
Yeah.
in any of our lifetimes. And so we've really spent a lot of time on the phone talking to our customers and convincing them that, hey, other businesses are doing this, your friends and neighbors are doing this, you need to take a look at it. Because one, nobody's going to force you to do it. Two, you can apply for it, and if you get down to the point where you say, you know what, you're approved, but your family says, you know what, we're fine, we're not going to need it, you don't have to take it. And just as importantly, in 8 weeks, even if you take the loan and you get the money, if in 8 weeks you say, you know what, we really never needed this, you can still pay it back. So there's nothing that prevents you from doing that. But we encourage customers to do this. I mean, most of you folks are good, hard-working people that have paid your share of the taxes over the last,
Right.
Whether it's 1 year or the last 30, 40 years, you paid your taxes in. And this is a chance to get some of that money back and ensure that you're there for not only you and your family, but for your employees, which are like family in a lot of these small companies. So the mentality's was a little slow to accept in Texas, but I think everybody saw how severe this was, and thank goodness most of our customers have stepped up and looked at the program.
And thank goodness there's help out there.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So, I had a question for you. Let me think a minute.
Well, you and I were talking a little bit during the break about the EIDL loans, what we call
That's
idle
exactly-
loans. Yeah,
that's where I was going.
EIDL are the Economic Impact Disaster Loans. And just to clarify for everybody, the banks don't really do those. That is a direct line to the SBA. You go in and fill out the loan with the SBA, and it's a different form and different part of the CARES Act. But it's more money that was allotted under the CARES Act, under the allotment by Congress, that you can go out and get that money. So if anybody's thinking about that, I wish I could give you details, but the reality of it is you have to go directly to the SBA website and fill out the EIDL loan, Economic Impact Disaster Loan, for them. It has different terms and stuff, so I encourage you to read it and understand what you're getting into. And surprisingly, we've had 3 customers that I'm aware of that applied for it and got some monies. I'm not sure they got 100% of what they applied for, but they were very appreciative of the number they got. And, the SBA is so backed up. Again, you and I were talking about this during the break. I think it's only fair to be fair to the SBA because they've taken a lot of criticism in the press. The SBA did more loans in the first 2 weeks of the PPP program than they did in a 14-year time frame.
Whoa.
And quite honestly, as a bank, doing 220 loans and doing $29 million, that's almost a year's worth of work for us too. So this was, this was all hands on deck. And I know everybody thinks bankers that we get there at 9, leave at 3, and go play golf. And that'd be nice, and sometimes we might get to do that. But there was about a 4-week period in here when we were preparing for this PPP program and getting through it, that it was some 80 and 90-hour weeks. And my staff, every one of them, really stepped up. And even Dow worked those kind of hours. So we were proud to have Dow out there working for us. But, yeah, it stepped up. But we did that again for our customers. The fee income is great. We're glad to make something off of it. We didn't want to work for free. But honestly, we did it to help save our customers and our communities.
You bet. And like we said earlier, thank goodness things are opening up a little bit. How long do folks have to take advantage of this?
Well, we don't know exactly as of right this moment where the SBA is on how much of that money that's been allotted in this second round, this right at $300 billion for the second round. We don't know exactly where they're at on how much of that has been absorbed by us going out and doing the new loans. But honestly, a lot of the big dollars went in the first round. So now we're getting to the sole proprietors and people that they didn't have the guidance out on the first round. So there's a lot more applications, but they're a lot smaller dollars. So I think you would probably have the next 2 or 3 days to still look at this. But
don't put it off,
Don't put it off. If you can get with your CPA, and if you're a sole proprietor, get your Schedule C, or if you're just a normal business that's got payroll, get your payroll documents and get those in to us. I had 2 or 3 customers that, whether it was the mentality we were talking about or whether they just weren't sure about the program, I had 2 or 3 call me today, and we got them lined up and have them submitted to the SBA right now, waiting on their approval. So I suspect when I get back over there at 5 this afternoon, they'll be approved. So it's really a pretty simple process. And like I say, Dow and Adalia over at Texas Hill Country Bank, just give them a call here in town. They can help you out and walk you through the process. We do all of our applications online, so you don't have to worry about coming in and having COVID. And if you get approved, you'll get 2 sets of documents from the bank, and those will come for electronic signatures. So you can do all this from the comfort of your own home or your own office.
That's nice. That makes it really nice.
You know, it's amazing where the technology has made it where you can do some of these things. We still prefer to see you. We just can't see you right now.
Right, exactly. But hopefully that's going to change.
Hopefully that's changing rapidly, yes.
Well, we're going to take one more break, come back, and let you have a few final thoughts, and
Great.
maybe tell us about everything in a nutshell. And
you bet.
And we'll come back after the break and talk more with Roy Thompson, President and CEO of Texas Hill Country Bank. We'll be right back, informing Fredericksburg.
Toch Well Service will take care of all your water well needs that come after drilling. They specialize in water pump installation and repairs, servicing windmills, solar pumps, jets, submersible pumps, and pressure tanks. Toch Well Service has been in business since 2002 with 83 years combined experience. Their entire staff is dedicated to their customers. Toch Well Service supports all men and women in the United States military and first responders. Toch Well Service, 830-997-2413. On the web, hillcountrywaterwell.com, and look for them on Facebook.
Vogel Tractors, specializing in low-hour, high-quality ag equipment. Area farmers and recreational landowners put their confidence in Van and Jamie, knowing their tractors, loaders, and farm implements will exceed expectations. All equipment is well-serviced and field-tested, and if new is what you need, Vogel Tractors is your Rhino Ag equipment dealer in the Hill Country. Warranties, financing, and delivery is available locally or nationwide. Vogel Tractors, located on Highway 290 between Fredericksburg and Stonewall.
Fredericksburg Trade Days wants to encourage everyone to stay healthy and be kind to your neighbors. When we get through this, we look forward to seeing you each month out on our little hill. Remember, water seeks its own level. So be what you want those around you to be. Visit us, fbgtradedays.com. That's fredericksburgtradedays.com. Check us out on Facebook. God bless, and we will get through this.
Creek Street Dental utilizes the latest technologies in dental care. Dr. McBride has been specially trained to offer the Hill Country sedation dentistry. Anxious patients can sleep through oral surgery in a private room with family nearby. Their CBCT machine provides near-silent imaging, making possible the most painless and effective treatments. iTero technology allows virtual manipulation and modeling, so no more gagging on impression trays. Call 830-990-1178 for the best in your family's dental health today.
All right, we're back. Informing Fredericksburg, J.D. Rose, visiting with Roy Thompson, President and CEO of the Texas Hill Country Bank. And right now we're just going to kind of give you the floor here at the end. By the way, I want to thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you, Jay. It's great to see you
time
again.
out of your busy day.
Yeah.
I know you've been
I hadn't seen you since the old radio days. So
the old ranch radio days, right?
Exactly. It's great to get back together. So, the PPP program, again, just in summary, it was designed to help you as an employer keep your employees in place, not put them into the unemployment offices, and it was a way to keep everybody in place till we could get through this, see where this COVID-19 was going to go. We're starting to come out of that.
Yep.
So if everybody uses it properly, it's going to be a real good tool to help everybody get back into a normal business. And as a bank, we were proud to be able to be part of that and jump in and provide the loans and do the work. And we think it was a game changer in keeping our customers safe and sound from a business standpoint. And so we were very glad to do it. I also have to give a shout out, and I almost forgot this, but all the CPA firms, whether it was Fredericksburg, Kerrville, Bandera, they really stepped up, helped their customers get the right information, complete the applications the right way, and we appreciate all their help out there. And they could actually earn a part of our fee, and we were happy to pay those accounting firms that stepped in and did a good job because it made our job easier. So happy to
Big
do
old
that.
group effort. Yeah.
Exactly, group effort. Takes a village to raise the kids. But no, this has been an exciting opportunity. I wish we didn't have COVID-19, but if for everybody else that was bored sitting at home, we weren't bored the last 4 or 5 weeks being involved in this. It was a great opportunity, like I say, and the next round of this basically comes over the next 7 or 8 weeks as they do the loan forgiveness. And that's going to be the next big step between the customers and the bankers. And again, probably working with the CPA firms where we have to get the information, same information essentially that we got to approve the loan. And I hate to even call this a loan. It was really more of a way to get monies that could be forgiven. Because as a loan, we think of tax returns and financial statements and really looking at the cash flow. It wasn't about that. This was about your payroll. What was your payroll and how do we keep that same payroll going through this downtime? So we'll need that same documentation to prove up that you kept that same payroll and kept your employees in there. And provided you did that, we think the loan will be fully forgiven or at least some percentage of it. And if not, you've got great terms at 1% over 2-year payout.
That's awesome. Mr. Thompson, thank you for all the information. Thank you for taking time, like I said, out of your busy schedule to visit with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Thompson, President and CEO of the Texas Hill Country Bank. J.D. Rose with you as well here on Informing Fredericksburg. Once again, we want to thank the Bell House B&B. This will be I believe our last broadcast from here because they got to get back to business too eventually, right? But we appreciate the folks at Bell House B&B for letting us set up a little studio in here. Mr. Thompson, thanks again. God bless you folks out there. And glad to see a few things opening up, some restaurants.
Starting to feel better about it.
Yeah, it's starting to feel good to be able to get back and live life a little bit again. That's going to be good for all of us. God bless you folks, and we'll talk to you later.